Okay, I'm here with Terry Dorn from Audio Research, and we'll be talking briefly about the anniversary series Preamplifier, which has just been released in Australia. Hello, Terry.
Hello, Edgar.
What can you tell me about some of the technology and circuitry that's
Well, it's not so much revolutionary technology. The anniversary edition was really motivated by our desire to bring out a special product honoring our 40th anniversary as a manufacturer. And it seemed only appropriate, since we're known for preamps over those many years, that we should bring out something special. So we decided to take the best technology that we have incorporated into previous products like the Reference 5, and taking that approach with a true dual mono approach. So essentially you have completely independent power supplies for left and right channel. We more than doubled the power supply energy storage, full vacuum tube regulation, and a number of other circuit enhancement, including special capacitor technology that took us over a year to develop. Incorporated all of that into a two chassis preamplifier that really goes beyond anything we have ever done as a company before. So we were feeling that this would be an appropriate way to celebrate our 40th year.
Sure.
And luckily enough, we've had many customers respond and realize that this is truly a special product.
Sure. The SP10 was what is considered a classic as
yes.
well. Apart from changes in technology, what do you think has changed between the SP10 and this preamp?
Well, it's true the SP10 was a motivating factor for us. It was recognized as such a classic that we thought something, again, in a two chassis format would be appropriate for this occasion. But I would say that on a performance level, the anniversary edition goes way beyond anything that the 10 was capable of. It's much more linear in every aspect in terms of frequency response, tonality. It's much more dynamic. I mean, the power supply technology we have today, together with capacitor technology in terms of the output coupling capacitors, pushes the performance envelope way beyond anything the 10 was capable of. I think you'll find with the Reference, the anniversary edition, that the sound stage is not only much bigger and yet more detailed and more defined in a three-dimensional way, but it has a palpability and an ease of presentation such that in our interpretation, your brain simply doesn't have to work as hard at interpreting what you're actually listening to. It's very non-fatiguing. Vocal intelligibility is at a much higher level, and at the same time, small sounds that occur in the sound field are just more immediately interpretable by the brain, it seems, by your ear. And so the experience with the anniversary edition is one of just really being enveloped by the music and not having to fight to think about what's in the system, or is this right or is that right. It lets you relax and really have a much more direct experience with the music.
Sure, there's that connection between the emotional connection and the music.
Exactly,
okay.
Exactly. It kind of gets the technology out of the way and lets you really enjoy what's there.
Sure. Now, is the anniversary edition a limited edition?
Yes, it is. It's being limited to 1 year of production.
Right.
We initially released it in April of 2010. The final orders will be taken in April of 2011.
Any clues as to how many are going to Australia?
You know, we'll see where that number ends up. We haven't tallied by individual country at this point. I will tell you that we have sold well over 200 units at this point on a global basis. Wow. So that means we've got essentially almost four months left. Sure. So I'm assuming there will be a fair number more.
Sure. Now, very briefly, can you tell me a little bit about the circuit itself? What sort of valves are used there and so on?
We're using, in terms of power supply regulation, again, it's got independent regulation for each channel. We're using a 6H30 pre-driver with a 6550 power tube as a regulator. It's a combination we've used before in products like the Ref 5 and the CD8 CD player. Works very well. Then in the audio section, we're using the 6H30 twin triode. I think we're using a total of 8 of those. And that's, again, a tube we've used before in previous preamplifier products like the Ref 5 and the Ref 3. It's a higher current triode, but it gives very good audio performance if used properly.
Now, some audiophiles have a connection with the reference one, and say that the sound difference between the reference one and the current audio research preamps is quite different. What would you say to that?
There certainly are differences. I would not call them major differences in essential character of sound. I think you'll find our more recent products are resolve more information, have more realistic musical dynamics, capable of a wider dynamic range in all respects. I think the tonality is much more realistic. It's fuller in the newer products, and I think the top to bottom response from upper frequencies to lower frequencies is much more linear.
Sure.
So there's a more coherent sound top to bottom. Okay. And I think as you go let's say from the Ref 1 through the Ref 2, the Ref 3, the Ref 5, you could, if you could hear them one after the other, you'd hear that progression.
Sure.
Where the information is just more clearly resolved with each successive model. Bass response is extended. Upper frequencies are more clearly defined, yet without harshness.
Sure.
And this is a result not only of the circuit design, but improve, and not only because of the tube change, which occurred in from the Ref 2 to the Ref 3. But improvements in other kinds of technologies. Resistor technology, capacitor technology has been very important.
Right.
We're using much more expensive materials in all handcrafted capacitors these days. And that adds a clarity and a lucidity and a seamlessness to the sound that you can't get by using inferior materials. So it's never just one thing that improves a product. It's a whole package of improvements, including materials, circuit application, power supply design and regulation, that end up giving you a total performance enhancement.
Okay. Now, Audio Research has just recently come out with a Class D amplifier.
Yes.
Okay. Has that been accepted by the enthusiasts and the hardcore audiophiles?
You know, there has been a prejudice against Class D amplifiers, and I must say it's a prejudice that we kind of shared for a few years. It seemed like a lot of Class D amplifiers had a similar sort of limitation to the sound. I mean, there was a sense that it was kind of dead until you really turned up the volume, and there were similar characteristics where they didn't sound terribly bad, but they were never had that magic that really good discrete amplifiers had. So we decided to essentially start from a blank sheet of paper. I mean, we wanted Class D to get back into that game because in the future, I think that is the future of solid-state amplification. It's much more energy efficient. It generates less heat. I mean, there are all sorts of reasons why it's a good technology. So we essentially designed a new product from the ground up using all discrete circuitry. So we have combined essentially an analog switching output stage using MOSFET output technology with a big linear analog power supply. Okay. So it's kind of a hybrid approach, whereas a lot of manufacturers today, I mean, originally Class D amplifiers were combined with small switching power supplies for use in flat panel TVs and so forth. We've used more of an audiophile approach using a big linear power supply, which we know how to make sound really, really well, and we can scale up or down. Combine that with a switching output stage, and the result is something that we feel is really competitive with our other products. Are there trade-offs between these amplifiers and our tube amplifiers? Absolutely. Some people prefer one or the other. But for the person who really doesn't want the expense and periodic maintenance required in vacuum tube products, this amplifier is a really great choice. Yeah. And so now we have a 200 watt integrated in the Class D switching technology. We have a 225 watt stereo, a 450 watt stereo, and we will also at the end of February introduce a 450 watt monoblock. Terrific. So we'll have essentially 5 products.
A developing range.
Right, right.
Where do you see Audio Research heading in the future, not too distant future?
Well, we're staying with vacuum tubes in terms of that's been our heritage, and most of our products will continue to use vacuum tube technology. We recently switched to a new type of power output tube, the KT120, that we feel very excited about. It gives more power. It promises better reliability and longer life in our products. We're using it very conservatively. At the same time, I think you'll see more solid-state products from us, not only in the Class D amplifier range, but certainly in terms of digital technology. Sure. Our latest D to A converter, I think, is a world-class product that features some rather unique high-speed USB 2 technology that it took us a long time to develop in conjunction with a pro sound company, and really allows for the first time a scalable USB 2 input from a computer to be scaled up or down, all the way up to 24192.
Right. Okay.
So you'll see more products like that from us in the future as well. I'm sure you'll see DACs built into preamplifiers. You'll see different variations of CD players and that kind of thing.
Sure.
I don't think CD players are going away, by the way. I mean, we still do a very healthy business in analog. We have 3 different phonostages that sell very well. That's not going away.
Yeah.
People are buying turntables again.
Yes.
Similarly, I don't think CDs are going away either. People have vast collections. They need a good CD turntable to play them back on, in many cases. That's their preference. And we'll be there to supply them with that.
Terrific. Well, thank you very much, Terry.
Thank you.
Okay.
I enjoyed this very much.
Excellent. Thank you.